everybody. Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, I'm Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com. We do this every Wednesday night here on the YouTubes. We go live and we talk about fish, so thanks for joining us. We do this at 7 p.m. Mountain Time and 9 Eastern. We're going to start, as we always do, with our shipping report. We have a giveaway to talk about. I have a bunch of new fish to go over with you. We'll get to questions and comments and all that. As a lot of you know, it's a little bit of a sad day. One of our moderators here at the Dance Fish channel, Myrtle Singh, has passed away. And so I've been trying to figure out how to approach that. He was a moderator. He helped out in the chat a lot. He helped his channel grow. I never met Myrtle in person, like so many of these relationships. It's an online relationship. But I do want to do something for Myrtle, but I'm going to do that later. I'm going to do that towards the end of the chat, or the end of the stream. So we'll kind of do the normal thing to begin with, and then at the end do a little thing for Myrtle, just to recognize his contribution and say thank you and goodbye. So we'll try to get through as per normal until the end there. Okay, so let's start with the shipping report, as we always do. Since I last talked to you a week ago, our shipping report is currently 98.86% success rate. Just a couple of problems. One was a box of rams that got delayed in Maine, and it's very cold in Maine, and I put as many heat packs as you can in that size box, but they still didn't do well, and I'm assuming they just got really cold. So that was one issue. The other issue, there was a couple boxes that arrived too hot other places. It's that time of year where some places it's really cold, some places it's getting pretty hot, and you got everything in between. And so as the fish are going, traveling from here and on their route to wherever they're going, the weather can be different depending on the area they're going to. So it's getting, this time of year, as the weather warms up and in the fall when it cools down, are kind of the trickiest times for me to ship fish. When it's brutal cold, it's like, okay, I know what to do. When it's really hot, it's like, I know what to do. When it's like cold some places, hot some places, and even on one trip to a customer, sometimes hot, sometimes cold, it gets a little trickier. We do pretty good, but there were two boxes that had not massive losses, but a few losses, where it actually started getting a little too hot. So this is my plea, if you will, that if you get fish from us, when you unbox the fish, if you wouldn't mind taking the temperature and sending us an email to hello@dansfish.com, HELLO@dansfish.com, and letting us know what temperature they arrived at. Or you can leave it on your review if you leave a review on our website. Then that will help us navigate the shifting weather. It's always a bit of an art and a bit of a science. We're always trying to fine-tune that as well as we can. And in almost all cases, we do a really good job. But every now and then, it's like, ooh, those arrived in the upper 80s. That's too warm. So your feedback on that is much appreciated. We have some good data points that we follow. We have some good analytics, and we have some good knowledge of what the weather will be, but weather's tricky, so help is appreciated. So those were the kind of the main issues I saw. Besides those, there was maybe a loss here or there, but those are the ones where I was like, oh, okay, time to switch some things up. So pretty good shipping report. If that one box hadn't been delayed, it would have been a lot better, but you don't control what you don't control. The good news is there were two boxes delayed here in Wyoming that I was really worried about. And those, one I got a report on that it made it in good shape, and that's awesome because it's a big box. It's like a big wholesale size order with quite a few fish. And the other one, I think I saw it got delivered and we didn't hear anything about any problems. So I'm assuming that one arrived in good shape as well. But those had me nervous because yesterday was pretty warm and they were sitting on a UPS trailer in Casper, Wyoming yesterday. And in those dark brown trailers with the sun beating down on them, they can get a little hot. So I was worried they would overheat. And then at night, it's really cold right now. So I was like, oh, I put a lot of heat in there. So I was confident that they'd probably be warm enough. But I was worried about them getting too warm with the sun hitting that UPS trailer that they were on at the transfer station in Casper, Wyoming. So that was only a couple local boxes. The local boxes don't go on an airplane, even with air freight. They go on a trailer, go to Casper, and from there they're sent out, to wherever they're going in the state of Wyoming, in a couple really closely neighboring cities in other states. But I think those went well, so I'm very relieved to hear that. So usually it goes okay even when there's delays and any other things, but occasionally we get it wrong. But anyway, 98.86. We're on our mission is to get to 99% success. That's what we want. We want 99% or more of the fish that we send to our customers to arrive alive and in good shape. Not just alive, but alive and in good shape. And we're working towards that. We are learning a ton about fish health. Our Chief Fish Health Officer has been here for long enough now that he's starting to get his sea legs and starting to really get a feel for things. And we are learning just an absolute ton. Mostly what we're learning is that hardly ever does a fish arrive clean. Almost everything has something. And so, but it's really nice to know what it is and be able to target treat it. That's the big advantage we have with the Fish Health Officer. Okay, so that's the shipping report and assorted comments. Now let's get to the giveaway. The giveaway is for some albino Bushynose. We have a great batch of albino Bushynose. They were sourced from a hobbyist breeder here in the United States. So these are nice, strong hobbyist bred stock. They're doing great. They're growing well. They're fat and sassy. And if I don't feel like I need to go into a lot of detail on a Bushynose Pleco. I feel like most of us know what that is. But if you don't know what it is, they're very hardy. They only grow to 4 to 5 inches. So they don't get massive, which makes them a great tank, a great inhabitant for most aquariums. They're not going to bust your tank as they grow too big for it. They're very good algae eaters throughout their entire lives. They'll eat diatom algae like that, soft blue stuff. They'll eat soft green stuff. Anything that's kind of soft and smooth on a surface, they'll get that very, very well. It's harder for them to eat string algae. Their mouth isn't quite, and hair algae, their mouth isn't quite made for that. But surface algae, smooth surface algae, they'll go nuts. Maybe not as effective on green spot algae, although they'll keep it kind of really trimmed down. But green spot's a horrendous algae that almost nothing eats. So maybe nearite snails would eat it, but not much else. So wonderful algae eater. I like the albinos because they're bright gold color. So they really show up. You don't have that problem that you have with a lot of plecos where it's like, well, it's in there, but it's back there and I can't really see it. Like they're bright yellow. So you see them and they'll eat anything. So I think they're a very good inhabitant for almost any aquarium. Now, most of you that just heard that diatribe know this fish and didn't need to hear it, but there might have been someone that's new to aquariums or hasn't heard of Bushynose plecos, or God forbid is thinking about getting a common pleco. Don't. Get a Bushynose instead. Almost any time that you're thinking of getting a common pleco, a Bushynose would serve you better. So anyway, if you'd like to win a Bushynose pleco, hashtag Bushy, hashtag BUSHY, no spaces, capitalizations don't matter, and we will get to that a little later. Okay, let's bring this up. So, I have a lot of fish to show you tonight. This is going to take a little while. We received an amazing import of fish a couple weeks ago from Germany and the Czech Republic and a couple of fish, not many, but a couple of fish from some farmers in Israel that are doing a great job. And I want to show you what they are. So, first off, these are the Manakapuru redback angelfish, one of my favorites. This is a beautiful angelfish of the wild types. It's one of the most beautiful because it truly does develop a nice red top. Now, some of these I feel like are messed with a little bit. Maybe there's some red light going on. Maybe they got saturated a little bit. But something like that, perfectly reasonable to get that much red in normal lighting on this kind of fish. So one that I think is fantastic. Another wild type angelfish that we have is the red spot angelfish. These are from the Rio, and this is hard to say, Essequibo? That's not that hard, Essequibo. And it's one of the red spot angelfish. They get these nice red spots. Instead of the Manakapurus, which kind of have this all red, these get nice red spotting on them. So, neat fish. Just kind of another variety of wild type angelfish. Finally, some Tinwini Danios. Now, I used to be able to bring Tinwini Danios in all the time. And I could sell them for, I think I sold them for something like $6, something like that. And then for some reason, and I don't know why, Alex, if you're here from Fishery, The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium, you might have a bead on why, but suddenly they weren't available anymore. I looked everywhere, and I've looked for a long time, and I could not find them. Luckily, the folks over at Aquarium Glasser in Germany were able to source some, and we were able to get some through them. So we do have some available. They're about twice as much as I used to sell them. I think they're 12, 13 bucks, something like that, which kind of blew my mind. That's a lot for this fish when you're used to paying, you know, $5 to $7 for it. But it was the only way I could get them, and I have to say, I think it was worth it because they sourced some pretty good fish. These came in all healthy. We haven't had any problems with them. So if you've been looking for this fish and you're like, where'd it go? Well, we finally have some here. They're neat little nanofish, very peaceful, small, like a lot smaller than a zebra danio, with these very bold spots on them. They're a really neat little fish. Oh, look at that one. They're sometimes called the gold ring danio. Look at that one all flared up. And imagine that in like a, you know, maybe inch fish. They don't get very big. Panda cories, this is one that we did get from Israel, and we'll probably continue to source them from that breeder because this is the only place I've been able to find that seems to do a consistently good job. We tried them once, went great. We tried them again, it's gone great, and I think it'll keep going great. Usually when I bring in panda cories, it takes like a month, often 2 to 3 months to rehabilitate them, get them cleaned up, get them fat. They come in emaciated, they come in really bad shape, they come in with ammonia poisoning. But the ones, that one breeder we found in Israel is doing a great job. So we're gonna bring those in. Okay, back to Europe. We do have some Pterophyllum leopoldi. These are the real leopoldi. You can tell when you look at them, they have this sloped face. I've had leopoldi in the past that I brought in from collectors in South America, and turned out they probably weren't actually leopoldi. I didn't know that at the time. But now that I see these, I see the difference. The head shape is quite different. And we have the real ones. So if you want a very rare angelfish, wild type angelfish, that's very hard to get, but it's really neat. And I think very breedable. I'd love to get some going in the United States. Then we have them. We only have 5. Like, I wish I could have brought in more, but we have 5 available. That's it. They're very limited quantity from, at least from the breeder that I get them from. Gold rams. And before you you're like, whatever, and keep walking, these are, I'm trying rams out of Europe. I've had a really hard time finding good rams. I have a source that's pretty good, and pretty consistent, but still 20-25% of the time, their rams are not good. And so I can sell rams for about, what, 12, 13 bucks. Gold rams, blue rams, your normal kind of German rams, if you will. Ramirezi. Ramirezi. I always say Ramirezi. Ramirezi. But I haven't been really satisfied. Like, sometimes they're good pretty consistently, and I'm like, hey, these are great, finally. And then as soon as I get excited about them, like the next shipment, it's like, oh, sheesh, they did it again, right? So I'm trying the ones out of Europe. They're quite a bit more expensive, but they're not horrendous. I think instead of 12, 13 bucks, you're going to pay about 5 bucks more. But again, bred by hobbyists in Europe and really healthy. Like, often when rams come in, it takes us quite a while to nurse them back to health. Even if they come in fat and sassy, guaranteed they're going to have some problems, almost always, that we've got to dig into and solve. These have been clear from the beginning. We've checked them several times, and they look good. So I think these are going to be worth just an extra, like, 5 bucks or so, because I think they're a lot healthier. And the same with these. We did get some of the blue form, not electric blue, but the, you know, regular wild type, also from the European breeders, and about the same price point, and the same result, no problems. So I'm gonna, maybe that will be my new go-to for rams. I'll try another, you know, batch next time, and if they continue to do well, then I'll be like, look, they're more expensive, but I know for a fact they're healthier because I've been, we spent a lot of time with the fish from the time they arrive until they're sold, and we get to know them really well. And so when a certain supplier, when there's nuance in that, when a certain supplier does a better job, it's pretty evident. And right now it seems pretty evident. Now, again, this is our first time trying this breeder out of Europe, but I think it'll continue to be good. And if it does, I might just switch to these, even though they're pricier. Okay, Pseudochronolabris from Ruaha. Doesn't have a scientific name yet. We've had these before. Beautiful little mouth brooder, very similar to like the Egyptian mouth brooder. And I think they're fantastic. Neat little dwarf cichlid. They breed like rabbits, and they're very pretty and feisty and fun. More Aphyosemion australe orange. That one we have in quite a bit. It's one of the more popular killies. Great beginner killie, very easy to keep, easy to breed, easy to feed, all that stuff. But they jump, so keep a lid on with your killies. But we were also able to get this, which is the wild type australe. It's called chocolate. But in the wild, they're instead of that orange-based color, they're a brown-based color. They still have the spots. They still have the beautiful colors on the fins and such. But they're more of a brown base color. You don't see the wild ones very often. It's kind of like an electric blue acara. You used to see blue acara around all the time, but then the electric blue morph came out, and now it's hard to find just your normal, you know, wild type blue acara. Same with these. So these are the wild type. Wow, look at those guys flaring. What a great shot. Here's another great shot. Yeah. We also brought in these out of Europe. So a few weeks ago, Alex Fishery, The Secret History, Living in Your Aquarium, asked me if I'd ever seen the electric blue orange head ram or yellow head ram. I can't remember exactly what he called them. And I hadn't. I looked him up and I was like, that is pretty. So the breeder out of Europe had some available, a few, only a few, and they're good size too. They're kind of bigger than our normal rams. And so I ordered what they had, and I have to say they're as pretty as these pictures. It's an electric blue fish with a bright orange head. So if that's your thing, we've got just a few of those. Checkerboard cichlids. Again, these are ones that were bred in Europe, and most of your checkerboard cichlids, so here's a picture of our checkerboard cichlids. This is a juvenile, kind of a brown base color. As they grow, they do get some nice color in the fins. But the ones from the European breeder, it's obvious they've been developing for red, and I'm not really seeing it here. But just to say that they have a lot more red and orange coloration than your typical checkerboard barbs that are usually on the market. We got more tiger teddies just because we can't hardly keep them in stock. Beautiful little, very small dwarf live bear that's unique. Has a reputation for being really difficult, but that's not what we're finding. The breeder we're getting them from has some really nice hardy ones. What I like about them is this kind of glowing orange dot they get, and with those black contrasts, it's a neat look. So I really like that. Albino hoplo catfish. We have a source for these that we've tried a few times, and a couple times they came in good, and so we got all excited. And then we've tried 3 or 4 times since, and they've always done badly for us. So we're like, hey, we're done with that. We found a breeder out in Europe and brought them in, and that batch has been rock solid. So there's just a big difference between, you know, stuff raised out in the industry and stuff raised by kind of more private hobbyists. And they're a little more expensive for sure. Not a ton, but a little bit more. But no health problems at all. So I think they're really going to thrive for you. Okay, we were able to get some Nisonai, Epistogramma Nisonai, which is fairly common in the hobby, but these are location specific. These are the ones from Rio, and I'm going to try to say that. Ucayali, that's what I'm going with. Much like a Panduro, Nisonai is a beautiful little fish, very similar to Panduro. Easy to keep, easy to breed, and hardy little cichlid in our experience. Brought in more McMasterai red shoulder. It's showing the gold red shoulder, which I think we also have some of those, but the one we brought in is the, ooh, Jason's got a hot shot. Jason over at Redfish Bluefish also sells a lot of Apistos, and he does a good job. So if you're in the market for Apistos, I think Jason's a good dude. But that is one hot looking fish. But these red shoulder Apistos are the same as the gold red shoulders, but without the gold morph. So they've developed the red shoulder, they just didn't breed the gold morph into it. And so it's a different look. It's not as bright from across the room because it doesn't have the yellow gold color, but I think it's a good contrasting fish anyway. I think it's a really pretty fish. Double red cockatoides. We have many, many, many requests for this fish. So we brought some in, and again, all these, if I don't mention otherwise, all these are coming out of Europe. Banshai, these are the Inca 500s. This is one of the prettiest cichlids out there, one of the prettiest Apistos out there. It looks different enough from your normal Apistos that they really do catch my eye anyway. I'm a guy that sees a ton of Apistos. These always draw my eye. There's just a bit of a different shape to them. The females are quite different. Here's a good example. They get the yellow, but they also have full bumblebee stripes, as opposed to what you usually see in female Apistos. Where's those Nisonai? Which is something like this, like a yellow with a blotch, like these blotched brown patterns. The Banshai females get that nice bright yellow. This picture isn't necessarily super bright, but let's see if we can find one. There you go. Bright yellow, but with, you know, the zebra stripes. So kind of different looking. Pseudomugil, why can I not say pseudomugil today? Because it's a hard word to say, that's probably why. Here's Pseudomugil gertrude. These are the ones from RO2. We were able to get some more in. I apologize for the price of this fish. I wish I could sell it for less. But I'm bringing them in from a breeder in Europe, and the fish out of Europe are just more expensive. Excuse me, but the RO2, this is my picture of them, and it's not the best picture. It's showing you a little bit of the yellow-orange that they can get, but I wasn't able to catch the fins nice and spread. Here at Aquarium Glacier, they were, so they get these nice tips of orange and yellow on the fins, and it really sets them apart from your normal aquarium strain Pseudomugil gertrude, which is still a nice fish, but is just kind of spotted. It doesn't have those nice tips. Trifasciata, I think an absolutely stunning Epistogramma. The males take a little time. They've got to kind of grow up and mature to color in, but once they do, I think they're fabulous. Fabulous. And then DeGei, the firemouth or fire-chinned killie or panchax or whatever you want to call it. Epiplates DeGei, one of the hardiest, I think a very pretty fish. I like the dark contrasts against the yellow with that kind of orange fiery mouth. Very hardy, very easy to breed. If you like killifish and want something besides what you can usually find, the Epiplates genus is kind of unique, and this is one of the hardiest fish in that genus. If you've never kept killifish before and you want to start, this is a good option. Super easy fish to keep. I have quite a few more to show you. Let's go with Ricovii. Let's see, I'm going to clear some tabs here. Make some room. I think the prettiest fish maybe in the entire world. I'm including saltwater in that. Like, these little gems are stunning. The batch we have in, we've been keeping a very close eye on, and we haven't seen problems. I think they're good to go. So if you want literally the prettiest fish in the world, I think, we have some available. Okay, what else is on the list here? I have some longfin Aeneas. We do have some black Venice Wayland cories. Again, these are out of Europe, so the quality is really nice. Some longfin Paleotis cories. Pistogramma agassizii fire red. This is one of our most popular fish. This is one that we have a hard time keeping in stock because it looks like this. It's gold with bright red, and the males, dominant males, get this orange burn up the back when they're feeling dominant. I just think it's stunning. It is a hard fish to beat. So, brought more in just because we're trying to keep them in stock for you guys. Let's see here. Super blue Carry Tetras. Nothobronchus gunthri. And we have the wild version, which is this. It's got the nice red tail on it. Beautiful kind of striping articulations up the body. Nice lace in the finnage. Note those are just absolutely stunning. Like, look at this. You got that. You've got that. Like, such pretty fish. Oh, we brought in some golden mono shrimp. I almost didn't because they're pretty pricey, but that's not one. What's a true, here you go. I'm not sure if I'm finding a picture that really shows them. They have a lot less brown. They have kind of gold or orange striping highlights on the body. They definitely look different than your normal Amano shrimp. They're not like bright. They're not like bright gold or orange, but they're definitely a much lighter coloration. And there's quite a bit more, but I feel like I've shown you enough. So a lot of new stuff over at the website. If you want to see it, head on over to dansfish.com. If you don't see it, then well, let me show you. I have failed miserably at getting good pictures of a lot of the fish. So if a fish has a picture and we list it recently, it's at the top. It's at the top when you go over to the over here to the newest listings. Okay, these are fish that are newly listed and that we have a picture of. But anything that doesn't have a picture doesn't make it to the top. It ends up down here about page 3 or 4, where, like the Leopoldi angelfish I was telling you about, I don't have a picture of those. So we have them, but you kind of have to get down to the bottom of the listings that are in stock around page 3 or 4 to see the stuff that we have, but I haven't been able to get a picture of it yet. I really want to get pictures, but we're down a couple people. We need to hire a couple people. We're just growing, and so we need to fill some voids, and we're out an extra person right now because one of our employees had to go out of state for a family medical emergency for the last few weeks. So so we're growing, and an employee had to take off to attend to some business, and so it's been hard to get pictures. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. Let's get to some questions and comments. I feel like I have gone off on the fish we have available and been salesy long enough. So let's get to questions and comments. Before I do that, though, I want to thank my moderators for being here and helping the chat, stay within bounds and make it a nice, healthy, hopefully friendly place that people can come just geek out about fish. We don't do politics here. We don't do religion here. We don't do stuff like that. We're about fish. We like to keep it that way. There's plenty of places you can go and talk about, the stuff that divides us. Here we talk about the fish, which most people in this community, I think, will find unites us. So let's focus on that. Okay. So I want to thank Rainey for throwing down a super chat. Hi, Dan. Are you aware your royal white clouds aren't white clouds, but Vietnamese cardinal minnows? Also, I'm interested in them. Anyway, I can see them. Well, white clouds is a common name, so it's actually meaningless. It's the scientific name that matters. But yeah, they call them royal white clouds. They call them Vietnamese white clouds. They call them Vietnamese cardinal minnows. I've seen white clouds listed as probably 8 different things, depending on the store or the supplier or whatever. So saying that your common name fish aren't those, they're actually this common name, is actually no, because common names don't mean anything. Common names are just things that people make up and attach to a fish. What matters is a scientific name. But yes, that is a scientific name that are both those common names, are terms that are used in the industry for that fish, which has a common scientific name common to both those common names. Geez, that's confusing. So I would love to show them to you, but I'm at my desk right now, and I've got my whole system set up here. I can't really take the camera, walk across the warehouse, and show you because I'd have to detach the camera from the computer, and then there would be no live stream. But I can show them on a video or something like that. Dave's Aquarium Thoughts. Thank you so much, Dave. Appreciate the super chat, appreciate the support, and appreciate the cute little sticker there, the thumbs up. I know that's probably supposed to be like a corgi or something, but to me, that always looks like what I call a fox cat. It's like a combo between a fox and a cat. Scaper Girl. Dan's Fish, I was one of the people with your shipment that got too warm. You all do the best you can do. You really do a great job. I really appreciate the team's focus on fish health and your customer service. Hey, Scaper, I'm so sorry that happened. But, we'll take care of you, or I assume we already did. And basically, we'll take that data point and be like, okay, next time, let's alter that and try to make it better. But thanks for understanding. Weather's hard to predict, and it fluctuates, and we usually do okay, but every now and then we get it wrong. Huck gifted 5 Dance Fish memberships. Huck, thank you so much. That is very helpful and very much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jacob Metzner, join the Fishmonger crew. All right, Jacob has spoken. Now you just have to do it. Now you have to sign up and become a member of the channel. I mean, Jake said so. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Thanks, Jacob. I hope you're doing super well. Let's see here. There are 373 folks here. That is not bad for this little channel. If you know someone who would enjoy this kind of content, if you wouldn't mind reaching out to them, letting them know that we're here geeking about fish, invite them to join. We're trying to grow the channel, and your help would be appreciated. Okay, let's get to questions and comments. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll up as far as I can, but if you left a question or comment early on, this is as far as it lets me go. It literally won't let me go further than Timothy Watson's comment. So if you left a comment above that, feel free to retype it down below, and I'll get to it as I go down the chat. Timothy Watson says, hello, Dan. I've been looking for quality Scoby ancestris for some time. I see you have some aquarium bred L14 in stock. Were they bred in the USA? Will you get other types of Scoby? So no, my Scoby are bred by a breeder that I know. It's an individual that I know, but he is not in the United States. I don't know of anyone in the United States that I can source them from. And we get other types? Maybe. Let's look at this, folks. So this is the Goldie Pleco. It is a beautiful, beautiful little fish. I mean, well, ours are little. Ours are about, I'm going to say 2 inches. Something like that. And at that size, they have these big dots on them, kind of like that. But they grow into some absolute beauties, as you can see here. Just such a pretty fish. Scoby ancestris. I mean, look at these things. Whew. So I will bring more in as I find them, as long as they aren't giants. I try to avoid the fish that just get massive. I feel like a Pleco up to about 14, 15 inches is manageable. You could keep something like that in like 120, 125 gallon. 125 probably be a little better. So, and enough people have that size aquarium that I feel like that's okay. But once you start getting beyond that, then it's hard for me to justify bringing it in. Excuse me, because very few people will actually be able to take proper care of that fish long term as it maxes out on its size. But those Scoby ancestris L14s, the Sunshine Plecos, or Goldie Plecos, whichever one you want to see. See, there's another one. The common names are Sunshine Pleco, and then just as common as Goldie Pleco. So, you know, if I told you, hey, that's not a Sunshine Pleco, that's a Goldie Pleco, I'm literally saying the same thing. So they're both that Scoby ancestris species. Let's see here. Where was I going? I don't remember. So I'm just going to switch gears here and go back to Rainey, who says, thanks. I wasn't trying to sound like a know-it-all. Sorry if I came across like that. If you could show them in a video, I'd appreciate it a lot. Oh, Rainey, your comment was appreciated. Yeah, no, absolutely. Please comment, keep it lively, give us stuff to respond to. I appreciate that you're in here being active in the chat. Yeah, if it came across as I was trying to be negative, that's not it. I was just trying to explain the reality of the situation with common names and scientific. I am not throwing shade at you at all. I'm just trying to explain what it's like in this industry with like so many common names. And like often every supplier has a different common name for the same species. So it gets confusing. Kelly Foreman gifted 5 Dancefish memberships. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly's been making it rain for a while. Just thanks. Like, I really, really appreciate your support. Another person whose support I appreciate is Kayla's Reptiles and Aquatics, who's been here for like ever, helping with this channel. Thank you so much, Bob. Hope you're doing fantastic. Connor, what is your feeding protocol for deflated stomach and fish when they come in? Received a few L201s today and their bellies look sunken in. Connor, did you get those from us? Please let me know. And if you did and their bellies look sunken, then I'm going to go check our stock as soon as the stream is over. So the main thing with sunken belly isn't just more food, although often you have to give them good food. Usually there's a disease causing that. Usually there's worms or some kind of protozoan in the intestines. Something is causing them to degrade weight-wise. So when we get fish that have sunken belly, often they're not going to eat well because they're full of parasites. So we feed them if they'll eat, and I'll go over that in a minute. But more importantly, what we have to do is identify what the issue is. Usually it's a parasite, and then cure the parasite before they really get their appetite back, and the food that they do ingest goes towards their betterment instead of the growth of the parasite. The parasite is just robbing that fish of the energy. So the first thing we do when we see fish is what's going on and try to treat that specific disease-causing organism and eradicate it, or at least knock it down in population to where it's not really affecting the fish. And then we just put a ton of food in front of them. The 201s, we feed those a protein pellet. I think right now it's Extreme Monster Big Sinking Pellet. And then we'll rotate that the next day. We'll feed them an algae wafer, which in this case I think is Extreme Bottom Scratcher. So we kind of rotate veggies with protein, veggies with protein. We'll also put in zucchini. Often fish that aren't eating well will kind of chew on some zucchini. Now, even Hypensistris do this. I know Hypensistris are typically carnivores, but even they will get a little nutrition out of a zucchini. And at least they have something to scrape on. I like to have wood in all of my Pleco tanks, even non-wood eaters like Hypensistris, because they will go and kind of graze that biofilm and stuff, get something in their belly. And then I find that a great starter food for a lot of fancy Plecos is bloodworms. If they won't eat anything, they'll eat bloodworms. So I turn the lights off at night, put in some bloodworms. If you're having trouble getting them to eat, put in some bloodworms, and not a ton, just a little bit. And if they're gone in the morning, then the next night put in a little bit more. And if they're gone in the morning, the next night put in a little bit more. And if they're not gone, you know, ooh, I overfed, or they're not used to that food yet. Sometimes it takes a little while to get them, a couple days to get them eating, or ooh, they're not going to eat because, you know, they've got something else going on that I have to treat. So I'm going to scroll down real quick. Hopefully chat doesn't jump too far, but I want to see if Connor got those from us. Connor, not from you, donated from a friend. Okay. We work really hard to make sure we don't ever send a fish out with a sunken belly, but call us out if we do, because if that's happening, I want to go check that tank and fix that problem. So Connor, that's the approach I would take. Let's see here. If you don't have a way, so here's the problem that we often run into is it's like, but how do I know if it has a parasite? I'm not equipped to identify that, and there's no aquatic veterinarian close by that can help me. Oh, sorry. That's just the reality for most of us hobbyists. So I'm not a veterinarian, but if I was in that situation, I'll tell you what I would do. Not as a recommendation, because that could get me in trouble, I guess, but just because if you need help, I'm trying to be helpful. But again, not a veterinarian, not, you know, qualified to diagnose or anything. But we do find that a whole lot of wild type catfish come in with roundworms. And it's very easy to treat roundworms. So I would use levamisol personally. And I would treat, maybe wait 4 days, treat again, and maybe do like 4 rounds of that. The nice thing about levamisol is you just need to use it for like a 24-hour soak, and then you can do a water change and get it out of there. So it doesn't, you know, it's not long term. It's 24 hours, wait 3-4 days, 24 hours, wait 3-4 days. So the fish isn't like constantly immersed in the medicine. So I think that's a good way to do it. Now, one thing I found with levamisol, though, is if you look at the literature on the effectiveness of levamisol, you'll find a wide range of dosages. What we've found here is that the higher dosages can be very hard on fish. Sometimes the higher dosages that are in the literature reported as something you could use straight up kill fish. So from what I've experienced, I have found it to be better to use the lower dosage recommendations when you're using levamisol. By the way, if you're looking for where to get it and how to use it, I'd recommend selectaquatics.com. Greg Sage, he supplies it and he has a lot of experience with it. So I think he's someone that you could work with to get levamisole. So that's something I would start with if I have a fish with a sunken belly. I'm not able to diagnose the actual organism that's causing that, if there is one. And I don't have a veterinarian close by that's willing or qualified to do that, because aquatic vets are few and far between. And I've tried feeding it and it's not eating, it's not gaining weight. It's probably what I would do. Jack, did you ever figure out if the green leaf algae eating shrimp can breed in fresh water? Yes, some of our customers are breeding them in fresh water. So yes, they can. I don't know how easy it is, because I don't think when those eggs hatch, they're going to come out as fully formed miniatures of the adults, like a lot of your cherry shrimp or crystal red shrimp and stuff like that would. I think that it's more like a mono shrimp when they breed. But can they be raised in fresh water? Yes, our customers are doing it. Tony Adams, are the Cory Equus you have in stock right now from the same German breeder? Yes. Or are they the wild caught ones? I'm asking because I am going to breed. Yes, the ones I have available right now are aquarium raised by a breeder in Germany. Same guy that we got same guy that we've been selling from for a few months. So the first batch we brought in out of Germany was wild collected, and they were big, really big. They did great. We sold those. All the other ones we've had for sale since then, as far as I know, have been the ones that have been aquarium bred and raised from Germany. So Aquarium Glasser sometimes brings in the wild ones, and then there's also some breeders that breed some. So the smaller ones, about an inch, inch and a quarter, maybe an inch and a half, looking at them right now. I can see them right down there. Those are the aquarium bred and raised ones. If you got, 2 inch or above, those are the wild collected ones. And man, I hope you do breed them. They're fantastic fish. Matt West, when will the Corridors Concolor get through quarantine? I've been waiting for these to become available. I have too, Matt, and we have not figured that fish out. In fact, I'm not sure I'm going to be bringing any more in because we are having a hard time getting them healthy. There's a few Corys that we've had for months. We have a batch of Virginiae right now that we haven't been able to figure out. We have those concolors. I think that's it right now. We're getting better at Corys, but I don't know. We're at a bit of a loss onto what to do for those. Passing Wind. Have you thought about hiring a person whose job it is to make product placement commercials to be your photographer? They can make a bowl of cereal look like it's covered in gold. Oh yeah, I've thought about that. For sure. It's super hard to hire any position. So I think right now it's much more likely that we'll be able to hire someone to help us with operations, has that skill set, than it is the other. And so if we can hire that person and that frees me up a bit, then I can step off operations, then I can photograph. Now, my pictures aren't always the best, but I think I can at least get clear photographs. I just need the time to do it. But yes, eventually I would like to get to the point where we have someone who can do that. Someone who can make a camera get up and dance. Glass NYC, will you be restocking gold roseline barbs soon? Johnny, do you know if we have any more? I think we're out. I think we only have... It's going to be at least 3 weeks before I have more available. That is a fish I try to keep in stock, but have not been able to get them in for the last 3 weeks, I believe. It's probably going to be 4 weeks before I have more available. Unless we have a few stragglers. And by stragglers, I don't mean like there's anything wrong with them. I just mean like we sold all that were listed and, oh, there's 5 more. Look, we had a little more than we counted. You know, that might be the case. Johnny can maybe tell you about that if he's in the chat. But as far as I know, no. Rico Stan says, can't stick around, but I haven't said hi forever. Hope you and the rest of the crew are well. Right back at you, Rico. I hope you're doing fantastic. You're probably not still here. You probably already bounced, but good to see you in the chat. BK, what's up, fish geeks? Had a quick question that I emailed about, and Johnny was awesome. A+ customer service. Yeah, Johnny's great. Absolutely. I think he's awesome at his job, and I'm lucky to have him. Hey, Skippers Aquariums, it's good to see you, Thomas. I hope you're doing really well. Please say hello to the wife for me. It's been a minute, and it's good to see you. Chevy Fish says, you are welcome. Well, I really do appreciate, Chevy, everything that you and the other mods do, so thanks again. Huck's Celebration. I found my first batch of fry for my Chilathorina alani from Dan's Fish. I have been frustrated checking the box for weeks and found fry instead. Isn't that how it goes with rainbow fish breeding? Congratulations. Awesome. Cheers. Steve's Glassbox Creations gifted another Dan's Fish membership. That's at least 2, maybe 3 weeks in a row that Steve's been doing that. Thank you so much, Big Steve. Really appreciate you giving away the memberships. That's a huge help to our growth. Max K. Do the Rackavai killies eat pellets or flakes? Both. If the pellets are small, they'll eat them. They will also eat flakes. But you do want to, and we are feeding, by the way, we are feeding them flakes and dry foods. But with killies, I think it's important to include some frozen foods in there, or live foods if you've got it, or both. But at least some frozen brine shrimp, maybe some baby brine shrimp, maybe some bloodworms, the smaller bloodworms. The thing with killies is their metabolism's really high. And those females are cranking out eggs. And so it's important to keep good quality food, to feed them good quality food. And feed it, if you can, a couple times a day would be great, so they can maintain their body weight and do well. So yes, pellets and flakes are fine. I'd recommend substituting with some, at least frozen on top of that. Gloom Pedal, do you think? Gloom Pedal sounds like the most emo metal band out there. Do you think a group of pearl gouramis could be kept with a Senegal biker, Bashir, Polypterus, or 2 in 180? Maybe. I mean, pearl gouramis do get decent sized. Like a nice full-grown adult male, that's a decent-sized fish. But Polypterus can eat things that surprise me sometimes, so I don't know for sure. Has anyone here tried it? Has anyone here kept a pearl gourami with a Senegalensis, what is it, Senegal Bashir long-term? And if you did, how did it go? Let us know so we can help. Let's see here. Jamie Green. Oh, that's for Johnny. Hunter McLaren. Hey, Hunter. Good to hear from you. Does the red swamp guppy need brackish water like online? No. Are they fine in freshwater? Yeah, ours are great in freshwater. So we've had them for at least, I want to say, a couple months in fully freshwater, and we haven't had problems. Man, look at those 2 fish going at. Look at you 2. These 2. Right, it's all backwards on camera. Those 2, look at them. Look at them sparring. So this is when they were little. They're like 5 inches now, maybe 6 inches, some of them. They're big now. So Hunter, this is my first time with the red swamp guppy, Micropoecilia picta. And so far, no, I don't think brackish is needed. Now, that being said, I haven't kept them for years and years or anything like that. And we do have hard alkaline mineral-rich water here, but it's definitely pure fresh water. Spanish pickles. Are you team bristle or bushy? Yep, I am. Grace Doyle. Any chance you will bring in Kochu Blue Tetra soon? Yes, I'm trying. And in your experience, are they known for fin nipping? I'm trying to think if there's been a time when I've like kept like long-fin guppies in with Kochu tetras, and did they nip? I don't know the answer to that. For some reason, I've got this little alarm bell going off in the back of my head that like 3 years ago, I had a big group of blue Kochus in a 75-gallon, and that little alarm bell saying, and there were some guppies in there and you had to move them because they were getting nipped. But that was a long time ago and I don't remember for sure. So I really don't know how to help you. Folks, let's get the hive mind involved. Hey, all y'all that are listening, what's been your experience with the blue Kochu tetra? Has it been a fin nipper? Let's let Grace Doyle know. And yes, Grace, I'm planning to bring more in. I actually tried to bring more in for Monday, but they were all out. So I will try again for a week from then. So I'm assuming I'm 3 to 4 weeks out. I'm sorry. I know that's horrible. I think, I don't think I'm remembering this wrong. Did we just get, hang on, let me look here. I've been trying really hard to keep that one in stock. Do we have a group of small ones that came in recently? Like, to know that, I'd have to check some stuff on my computer, and I can't really do that while I'm going live here. Yeah, I don't think so. I think that I think we're probably 3 to 4 weeks out. Johnny, please correct me if I'm wrong. Ryan Sokram, you should set up a Discord server. We have one. We've at least got the user account set up. I literally don't know when I would like be able to get on it. I don't know when Johnny would either. Like, it's something we've been wanting to do for a while. But neither Johnny nor I have the time to actually set it up and make it a valuable place for people to go. Like, and be active in it and stuff. So, Ryan, I think you're right. I just don't know when we'll be able to manage it. Tegan Combest. Dan, I can move there and work for you. Well, hey, send me your resume and cover letter. We are hiring. Let's bring that up. So, if you're sick of your job, if you don't like getting up every morning and hitting snooze because you're like, I don't want to go to this job. I feel empty. My boss is a jerk. The culture's toxic, and I don't enjoy any of this. And you're hating life. We are hiring here at Dan's Fish. If you go to Dan's Fish, scroll all the way to the bottom of the website and click careers, you'll see the job description. If that sounds like you, there's a lot of room for upward advancement here as we grow. And people that have been here with us for some time have, been advanced with their pay. But it's not massive pay to start. It starts at $16 an hour. Now, keep in mind, that's in a state where the minimum wage is $5.75 an hour or something like that. So, 16 is not a lot in, a lot of big cities, but out here in Wyoming, it's not a lot by any means, but it's a lot more than it would be most places. Rez, how often do you get samurai gouramis in? Whenever they're available. That is one that is very seasonally available. But I do plan to bring more in next time they're available. And it's not just that. It's also that I'm pretty picky about where I get them from. There's only, I think, 2 sources right now where I feel comfortable even trying them. That's a fish that if it's not treated right throughout the export process and import process, if it's not treated right, it's just not going to do well, straight up. If it is treated right, then I can get them healthy and get them to you, and they'll be rock solid. But there's only a couple suppliers that are willing to do the work and get them to me in good enough shape that I can get them to you to where you'll be successful with them. What's the plant in the tank behind you? This is a massive sword plant. Can Can't remember what kind it was. It Big Bear? I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. I know it's a sword plant. Bruna. Okay, how do you say Surfistina? Yeah, Bruna Surfistina. Will you be getting any more Endlers in? Thank you. Is there a specific one you're wondering about? We do have, well, let's show you. We've got a few in right now. So we've got Santa Marias, we've got steaks, we've got steak Endlers, these guys. Really, oh, there you go. Steak Endlers. These are a true pure line wild type Endler. We have Santa Marias. Oh, now I'm down to where I don't have pictures anymore. Oh, really? Did we sell out of Santa Marias? We have a breeding colony of Santa Marias, so we should have more Santa Maria Endlers soon. Let me show you this fish. I think it's really pretty. I think it's pretty enough that I once spent 2 years developing a line of these before I could readily get them in the United States when they were very hard to get. But I love it. Bright orange red, and then that you got that black upper. I just think it's a neat contrast. It's like, I don't know, it's a perfect Halloween fish. Really, really pretty fish, Santa Maria. We have the fiery black. Fire black. Did we? There's no way we sold out of those. Oh, black flame Endlers. So again, I just need to get pictures. Black flame Endlers. That's a decent shot of them. Dark body, bright orange tail. Like that's pretty good. So we have a few, but I don't have a ton. There's like a bajillion kinds available, though. Let me know what kind you're looking for. Okay. Killers, Reptiles, and Aquatics. Dan Huawei brought to my attention that the co-op affiliate link I always share from your description is the wrong link. Ooh, I sent his message to you as well, but I want to be sure you know he caught it, not me. Okay, let me post the right one. Can I do this? Yes. It should be in the description. How do I get to that? Okay, without screwing the entire thing up, I think I go here. Okay, I'm going to post it down here, Bob. Here's the correct one. The problem is YouTube curtails it sometimes. Like if you copy and when you copy the YouTube just curtails this link sometimes, so the whole thing isn't there sometimes, so it doesn't work. But that should be the correct one. Okay. Hopefully that fixes it, Bob. Dan, switch my brunt. Okay. My grunter came in a few weeks ago with "I eat fingers" written on the bag. Do you know where I can source more fingers to feed? Yeah, we did have fun with that one. You might need to start with your toes. Good to hear from you, Johnsworth. Thanks for being a member, by the way, for 18 months. And I really appreciate the continued support. Thank you. And I'm glad he's feisty and eating fingers. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I was a little nervous shipping him. He's so big. They're such a big fish. It's not just length. It's like they're tall, they're girthy, they're like a football. They're big fish. I'm glad to hear he's doing well. Xanadu, do. Oh, that's for Johnny. PJ Kazemi, do you do anything special when shipping angelfish due to their long tail size? A long tall size. We just try to make sure they're in enough water that they have enough depth that they'll be okay. Besides that, we treat them like our other fish. We fast them. We make sure they have nice, clean shipping water before they go out. We use oxygen. They each get their own individual baggie. But the main thing with the angelfish is just making sure that there's enough water in there for them because they're tall. That's really, so we add a little extra water in there for some more height. Kate Hole says, members equal the Danios? Oh, that is clever. The Danios or the Dandanellas. Isn't that another genus of like small? Speaking of suppliers, one of my suppliers is calling right now. Hang on, I gotta text him and tell him I'll get a hold of him after the stream. We are trying to source, we've been working together to source some very rare, hard to find wild type bettas. We've been working on that since last night. Live on YouTube. We'll call you back. Done. Okay. She's probably got some news about that. I'm excited. If we can get them, I hesitate to talk about it yet, but if we can bring those in, that would be awesome. Kyle Hernandez, do you think at the red Amayas that you are getting are males only? Yeah, I do. We have requested that they include females, but I don't think they even bring the females back from the collection point. I think they just focus on the bright red ones. Now, I think that's the case. They all look bright red to me. Every now and then there's one in there and I'm like, maybe that's a female, or maybe that's just a male that's, not settled in yet, or doesn't feel dominant, or feels a little scared or something. But every now and then we've seen one and I'm like, maybe that's a female. But I think the Amayas and the Sinepas and those things, I think they're pretty much collecting the bright red ones, which I'm assuming are all males. Now, I don't know. The females might have pretty good color on them as well. I'm so new to that fish. Like Morton Thaleri, even the females look pretty good. They have a decent amount of red on them. So it could be that we just aren't really good about telling the difference. But when I first started getting those in, okay, my mind can only hold so much information. So when I first started getting those in, I looked them up, and I believe, if I'm remembering right, I'd have to look back, but if I'm remembering right, I believe that the males and females are quite different. So I do believe we're getting all males. Branton Lightcap, any experience with the L236 RB Super Whites? Yes, I'll be getting some next month. They're fantastic. I think they're wonderful. Just a really cool, unique fish. And a lot of the customers we've sold ours to have been successful at breeding them. So I think that I don't find them to be a difficult fish to keep or anything like that. We don't do anything special for them, but they are pricey. So you already know that, though, if you're in the market. Yeah. Gold Nugget Pleco Tetra. What is the best remedy for lymphocystis? Time? And is lymphocystis self-limiting? I can't remember. I think iridovirus, sometimes in my mind I get the facts about lymphocystis and iridovirus mixed up. I think I'm correct in saying that lymphocystis is self-limiting, in that given enough time and care, that the fish should be able to kick it, just like you or I would the flu, something like that. I believe that's correct, but Gold Nugget Pleco, double check me on that. Besides that, I don't think there's any cure for it. It's a virus. So anything that kind of helps, what is that stuff? Kaler's Aquatics and Reptiles, or Reptiles and Aquatics, I can't remember off the top of my head, but Bob, what is that stuff that you've used with dogs and cats and stuff to help when they have virus issues? It's not necessarily going to kill the virus, but if I understand correctly, but it might help a fish to like boost its immune system against the virus. But lymphocystis is a tough one. When we see it, it's like, okay, this is going to take 6 months to clear. We just wait it out. And sometimes we're successful and sometimes we aren't. Christopher Junkin, what are the causes of getting a vapor lock with a canister filter? A vapor lock? How do you prevent it? How do you clear it? Are you talking about like an air pocket? Basically, when I start a canister filter, if it doesn't have a decent primer, I just take one of the hoses and put it down into a drain and just make sure I've got water flowing from the aquarium down and then out. And I let that run for a little bit. And once it's running and water's coming out and I'm not getting air coming out anymore, it's not glugging anymore, it's just water, then take the other hose and put it in its position. That's the easiest way I know to clear something like that. Okay, chat just jumped again, which makes me think it's probably a good time to do the giveaway. All right, 393 folks here. Not so bad, not so bad at all. I remember when there was like, 8, 12. So we'll take it, almost 400, we'll take it. This is for some albino Bushynose Plecos. That's what the giveaway is. There are 276 folks entered to win. And the winner is Nico Fish. Nico Fish, you have been drawn. So you have 2 minutes to chime in and leave something in chat because you do have to be present to win. Let me start my timer. There we go. Timer's ticking. So if by the end of that you haven't chimed in, then you forfeit your winnings and we'll draw someone else. But if you have left a comment in chat, then they're yours. Okay, Spanish Pickles. Been having some annoying small medical issues, but my newish guppies and shrimp have been keeping my spirits high. Yeah, that's what fish do for us, right? It's like, especially during stressful times, it's like the little piece of nature in your home. And you can, for me, it's the same as watching like a campfire. And kind of how that it's a little mesmerizing and it just makes everything go away and your mind is able to just kind of clear and breathe a sigh of relief. That's what fish do for me. Same as if I'm, sitting on the beach watching the waves or sitting by a creek, listening to the, water and watching the water flow and the birds fly and all that. Yeah, I'm glad that it's helping and I hope you heal up soon. Any fish will do. What's the biggest breakthrough in fish handling last year? Anything good? Yeah, the biggest breakthrough has been a large supplier that we work with who, so we have certain, I guess you call them demands, standards. Standards is a, less tyrannical word. We have certain standards that we require when we source fish. The industry doesn't naturally meet our standards. One of the main standards is don't overpack the fish in the bag. Don't put so many fish in the bag that they're guaranteed to get ammonia poisoning and suffer from exposure to ammonia. Like, let's not do that. That's easy to solve. You just put less fish in each quantity of water in each bag when you're moving them to us, right? When we're importing them. So it's amazing how resistant a lot of the industry is to that. I'm like, look, I'll pay you extra. I know it's going to take you more work to do that. What will it cost you? Let me know and I'll pay it. I know I'm going to pay double the freight. I pay double, 2 to 4 times the freight costs of everyone else in this industry because I make sure the fish are packed less densely in each bag, in each box, right? And most suppliers are very resistant to doing that. It's like, no, they got the way they do it. They've done it that way forever, and they don't want to change it, even though the mortality is so high due to them doing it that way. The business model's working, they're not going to change, right? They're not going to retrain their staff or any of that. But I have been working for a while with a supplier who is also a hobbyist at heart, someone that comes from the hobby, someone that's always learning about fish, writes articles for fish magazines, talks at fish clubs, you know, that kind of person who's really into it and also happens to make a living doing fish. And they have been working with me for, I think, for a couple years now, over a couple years, meeting our standards. And they've noticed such a benefit to doing that, that now that's their default. They changed their operation, that now all the fish they bring in are less densely packed because it's so much better for the fish. They've seen just such a big drop in mortalities, right? So much less loss. And so that, to me, is the most meaningful breakthrough yet. Because my mission of this company isn't to like outsell my competitors or, you know, make, you know, it's not anything, or be the best. Like, no, I want everyone to do well. My mission here is to change the industry for the better. And that was the first time that I felt like we'd made a big breakthrough in that mission. We've had other breakthroughs where, you know, small suppliers would, you know, be on board and be willing to meet our standards, and then adopted them themselves when they saw the benefit. That's been happening for quite a while. But for a big player in the industry to make that change, that's actually having a large impact because they supply lots and lots and lots and lots of places. And so that for me has been the biggest breakthrough, because it's feeling like the mission is actually making a difference, not just here and there in onesies and twosies, but now for a significant part of the fish industry. So that's been very, very gratifying. And I'm just so grateful to have found a player of that magnitude in the industry that's also on board with doing what's right by the fish. I think they're amazing people. Spanish Pickles, been having some annoying, already got that one, already got that one. Okay, oh, let's see about this timer. Nico Fish is like, I'm here. I won. Thanks. Thanks. I shall mail Dan. Just email. All right, cool. So you know what to do, Nico Fish. Yep, send us an email to hello@dansfish.com, and we will get all your details squared away and schedule time to send you your fish. And congrats on your winnings. Okay, now I think what I want to do now is spend a little time, just a little bit of time, thinking about Mridul Singh, who passed away recently. Was a moderator on this channel, was a very active member in the Fish Fam, helped a lot of YouTube channels out, and young kid, 21 years old, studying music composition in college, and really unexpected his passing. So, you know, our best wishes go out to his family. If you ever see this, just know we really appreciated Mridul. Great person it really helped out a lot, like added a lot of value to this community. So this community, at least, will very much miss him. And I thought it would be appropriate to just play one of Mridul's songs. As you know, I have a background in the entertainment industry. I grew up on stage basically singing. My mom directed choirs and musical acts and stuff like that. And I married a professional musician, and so I have a real appreciation for music and music composition and that kind of thing. And Mridul did some really good ones, so I just thought it'd be appropriate to play one here off his YouTube channel. this is a little risky because, and thank you, by the way, to the mods for posting the link to where you can leave some thoughts for Myrtle's family to read. If you if Myrtle affected you for good, take a moment to let his family know that. Because they can use all the support they can get right now. Now, what I'm going to do is attempt to just play one of his songs off his YouTube channel. I don't know how well that'll go technology-wise, so if it doesn't work, I'll just, shut it off and leave thoughts as they are. But please let me know in the chat if this somehow sounds bad going through the different systems for this live stream. But I really like this one. Well, it sounds like the music's not going well. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'll just link this in the chat where you can listen to it without the interference of trying to get it to go through all the systems that make a live stream work and come out clearly. So I was hoping I could do that and it just sound okay, because I don't know really how to dig in and make it all sound good. But oh, it's my mic. Anyway, there's a link. I think it's a really cool song. And yeah, Myrtle, I'm going to miss you. All right, with that, I think we'll close it down. I want to thank the moderators for being here and for doing what you do. Really appreciate you guys. I want to thank everyone that's a member of the channel, the Fishmonger crew, or the Danny-O's, Dandanellas. I don't know. I'll have to play with that a little bit. Thanks to everyone that gifted memberships and that threw super chats at us. We really appreciate the financial support. If you were active in the chat and participated and maybe answered questions people had, helped someone out, or gave me something to respond to, thanks for being active. I really appreciate that. If you weren't active, you were just lurking, hail the Lurker Nation. If you're listening on the replay, hello from the past. And if you're listening to the podcast, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Until then, have a good one. Bye-bye, everybody.